sure that every entrepreneur, just by watching this, can leapfrog in his journey of entrepreneurship. By saying that, I welcome Mr. Sovan Panda back to the show.
Thank you, Kashyap. Thank you so much.
So today's question is, what is 80-20 rule?
Okay, what is 80-20 rule? By the way, there is a book on this 80-20 rule, but we will make it more simplified and clarify as to how this is so very important to understand this particular concept, which is 80-20 rule, when you are running your business or when you are in an entrepreneurship journey. So let me take a very simple example. Let's say you have got 10 shirts. You bought 10 shirts, and most of the time, 80% of the time, you end up wearing two shirts, 2 to 3 shirts. Okay, so that is how it is, in everything that we do in life. Now you have 10 things to do. Okay,
Hmm.
and those 10 things which has to be done, out of which there are two things which is going to give you maximum results, maximum output, maximum revenue.
Hmm.
But we end up spending time on those 8 activities which will give you the least amount of revenue, least amount of results, okay, least amount of output. And if we
Hmm.
understand this one simple concept, now if we have to plan our day, and if you have 10 things to do today, then you have to see, out of these 10 things, which are the 2 to 3 things which I'll do, rather 2 things which I will focus on, which is going to give me 80% of the business.
Hmm. So right, because why this is important. Why this is important is because now typically what happens is we want to pick and choose those things which are very easy, and just for the heck of it, we say yeah, some progress is happening, and we don't give that as a priority. And when you have this 80-20 and you identify which of these activities are going to give maximum result, you're going to more and more focus on those activities.
True, very true. I'll give you two very important examples. Let's say there is a jar. There is a jar, big jar, and you have tennis balls with you. You have small pebbles. You have sand, and you have water. Now, if you pour water first, and then you start pouring sand, the water will start coming out. It will start coming out of that, and then moment you start putting pebbles, the water is coming out. There is no space left, no space left for the tennis balls to go inside the jar. And most of us, most of the times, most of the entrepreneurs focus on those unimportant activities which does not give output. Let's reverse this whole thing. You first start putting the tennis balls, and the jar is full with the tennis balls now.
Hmm.
And then now you start putting pebbles, and that pebbles will go and settle between the gaps of the tennis ball. Okay,
Hmm.
and then you pour sand. The sand will start going into the gaps between the pebbles, and it will still fill the jar. And then when you pour water, there is enough space for water as well. What I mean to say is that if you focus on your most important activity, which is going to give you the result, which is going to give you the output, you will have enough opportunity or time to still focus on the other 80% of the activities, which will
Hmm.
help you to finally, build yourself. But most importantly, in your first half of your day, you should focus on those 20% of your activities which is going to give you revenue, which is going to give you customers, which is going to help you solve the bigger problems of your company, bigger problems of your enterprise and your business. And the rest of the time, you have to focus on the other unimportant activities, but it is important for that day. I'm not saying unimportant from the perspective of the revenue generation.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
so those can be pushed to the later half of the day. Now, many people, what they do is, during the first half of the day, they focus on checking their mails, checking their mobiles, your WhatsApp, and your initial productive time is gone, completely gone. Or they would set up some unimportant meetings during the first half of the day, and your half of the day is gone. You can focus on the most important activities that you have to focus on, those you will be able to identify 20% of your activities which is going to give you the maximum results for that particular day. And once you have done that in the first half, you will have so much of satisfaction that you will have enough motivation to even do more, which is going to generate more revenue, and also be able to complete the other 80% of the task, with a lot of ease. That's the key here, Kashyap.
Hmm. So guys, so how this helps is basically now if effort that it takes to do an activity is the same, and not what the point is very simple. Now not all activities will give the same results, so you have to pick and choose those activities that are going to give you maximum output, and those are your 20% which will drive the maximum results, which is the 80% of the results. So in every situation, the rule says in every situation that you can always find these 20%, the most important things. And also, Brian Tracy talks about this in his own form. He says, eat that frog,
Eat the frog.
eat that frog. So he has written a book on that. If you have not read the book, please read the book. He says first thing in the morning, what you need to do is do those things that you don't want to do, and that is typically your 20% of the toughest things that you don't want to do, because these are the tough things. If you do, rest of the day will be easier because the other tasks are easier, isn't it so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The first half or the first initial 45 minutes, what Brian Tracy says is that first 45 minutes you should focus on the most important and the toughest activity, which is very clearly going to give you results, which is going to help you move forward. And if you attack that, that is what he calls as eat the frog. If you attack that particular thing, then you are sorted. You are sorted for the
Hmm.
entire day, and you can focus on the rest of the things, and you'll be a lot more productive, a lot more efficient, and you will end up achieving a lot more than what you would have planned.
Hmm. Right.
That's
So
the
basically, how this helps is how this actually helps is weekly. In our Tango Club, we provide that weekly targets that people need to do, and there might be 10 things that you might want to do, but the idea is to choose those things which will have the maximum impact on your business in terms of numbers. Is it going to drive number of visitors? Is it going to drive number of amount of money that you'll make? So that is going to be the magic of 80/20 rule.
Yes, that's the magic formula. If you just implement this every day, be very conscious and aware of what all you are doing. Focus on the ones which are going to give you maximum results. If you have to meet an important customer, meet in the first half, discuss with the customer rather than keeping it towards the later half of the day, and eventually that will not happen or that will get pushed to the next day. It's better to do all that. You're checking off your mails, checking WhatsApp, doing all the other things which is also important, can always be pushed to the second half of the day. And if you just implement this, be very conscious and aware of this particular simple concept, you can actually 10x your growth.
Hmm. So today I also happened to meet the founder of Instamojo. So he's uh, yeah. So what he said, so his name is Sampath. So what he said is that it now they could do multiple things. Now what they focused on, instead of focusing on multiple things, which is the 80%, they focused on very simple things that will create a lot of impact. That's where they created a payment gateway, which is impacting a lot of millions of people's users right now as we speak. So it's simple, guys. So now focus on those things which can create massive impact, and that is the right 80/20 ratio for you. You could do typically, Instamojo could do like everything, but they focus on those things which can give maximum output, and that's how they have been successful until now.
Yes.
Any last 30
So,
seconds, so on?
yes, so if you are running a startup and if you have lot of problems to be solved, you pick up those problems which is going to impact maximum customers. You pick up that,
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
also going to give you maximum revenue, which is going to give maximum value to maximum people, and you focus on that and you address that first, and then you can take up the rest of the things.
Right. So that brings me to the end of the show. So, guys, you know what to do. Please like, comment, and share. So, go to our YouTube channel, Find My Mentors, and subscribe to our channel. And until next time, please have fun and take care. Thank you, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.